It's a little after 6 in the morning on Friday the 23rd, and I am getting ready to be escorted by my father to the airport. The flight leaves at 10:30, and it's 14 hours, but it's not direct. I'm making a stop first. My first flight took off around 10:30 a.m. New York time, and I spent most of it pretty comfortably. The in-flight entertainment options were decent, so once the lights were turned off to allow the rest of the passengers to sleep, I started catching up on a few features I'd been meaning to see. I'm not about to pretend I never got bored. Around this point in the flight, I'd already finished 3 movies, and we still had the entire Pacific Ocean to get over. It was becoming a bit daunting just how great a distance we were traveling. But I had my compression socks with me and genuinely didn't feel that much physical discomfort. I'd intermittently mess around with the interactive flight map to get a sense for where exactly we were. And I'm sure anyone who's flown long distances can tell you that without this kind of reference point that you actually are moving, it can feel like you're kind of just stuck in one place. So appreciated that. When we had about an hour, maybe an hour and a half left, we were entering the landing airspace. I opened my window right up because I love to watch planes descend and look at the clouds. I took a lot of cloud videos, and I'm not going to force y'all to watch all of it with me, but hopefully these clips convey just a little bit of the awe that I felt. And just as I had about gotten my fill of cloud gazing, I saw some familiar architecture in the distance, which let me know I'd reached my first destination. Japan has been at the top of my international destinations for I can't even remember how long. So even though this was just a layover, I was super excited to get inside and see how everything looked and worked, even in the airport. Slow, in a word. But I took the long wait on the chin because airports are airports no matter where you go. I am here in Tokyo, a few feet away from the gate that I'm going to take off from in 2 hours. Got myself a treat. Japanese M&Ms, I think. I'm gonna try these out. Oh, that's pretty good. Hats, but my head's too big. My head's too big for these hats. Large cranium issues aside, I was irritated by this point because we were late to even board, let alone actually take off. So I spent most of this next flight asleep and was very, very grateful when we touched down in my final destination. Ordering a grab car, which is the South Asian equivalent of Uber, was the first test, but after a brief snafu, I finally arrived at my accommodation site, and not a moment too soon. I made it. It's hot, and I need to shower. It has been a day, or I guess a couple days, just straight traveling. The first flight really, despite what you would think from the length, it wasn't that bad, really at all. It was quite comfortable. The food was, but it's airplane food, I guess. But that second flight, that layover in Japan took a very long time. And then the second flight, even though it was obviously shorter, I was so tired and worn out by then that I was just ready for it to be over. So then getting here, of course, was its own little journey, but we figured it out. Tomorrow's first session is an evening session, So I'll have plenty of time to kind of rest and gather myself, and I guess feel the effects of the of the jet lag or the whatever. I've never done this kind of thing. I've never traveled this far out of the States, and I've certainly never been in this drastic of a different time zone. So we shall see what sort of effects that has. But I'm hungry. I have to say, I think coming off the plane, or even before like I got off the plane, like just coming here, I expected a much more rural area, but it's really bustling out here. Low key, it makes me feel like I'm at home. There's mad motorbikes on the road. Everyone is on a motorbike. It feels like at times there are more motorbikes than cars, and like it'll be families. Like I saw a dad and a mom and then two children squished between them on the highway. I'm comforted by how familiar it feels in a weird way, even though I've never been here before. But there's definitely still going to be a lot of new experiences to be had. So I'm actually going to try out this shirt I bought in Japan. This is an extra large. This is what an extra large looks like in Japan. It fits me like an American large, pretty much. Good call. Good thing I asked the lady at the stand, because I was like, I'm bigger than the average bear in Japan. The average Japanese bear. All right, it's time to go to sleep. I can't tell if I'm awake right now because I usually wake up early and then wind up going back to sleep later in the morning anyway, or if my body feels like it should be awake because it's 7 p.m. in America. But also I was watching Interstellar on the second flight, and time is just a little bit weird to me now anyway. So I think one of my first missions for the day is going to be to get to a money exchange place. I took out some money before I left America, so I might exchange a little bit of that, making some money moves. There is a place near Benton Market that reportedly gives the best rates, best bang for your buck. So I'm gonna need to make some maneuvers. The question is, do I go alone or do I invite friends? Also the matter of what to wear. First outfit in Asia. No pressure. I didn't really get to flick up the way I wanted to last night. Well, I really liked my outfit, but I was so tired and stale from being on planes, and it was dark, so there was nowhere to even necessarily get stanced. I just wanted to get inside. But we will see what opportunities today yields. Final destination, folks. Ho Chi Minh City. I'll tell you what, I am already sweating. And it's only 70 some degrees right now. It's going up to 90s later. Attracting some looks, but nothing unexpected, I guess, in terms of this being black and that not being super common here. I know what's weird about it. I don't even necessarily know how far I'm walking, but I'm sticking on the side of the road that the hotel is on so that I don't have to remember too much. Obviously not trying to get lost in a city with a language I can barely say good morning in. Here's a daytime look at the gym we'd be training at, Saigon Sports Club. It's the largest sporting facility in all of Asia, and I would have gone in, but it was dark and I was sweaty. I needed to get back to the hotel room ASAP. Okay, so we gained some valuable intel about temperature and fabrics. You know, when I put this shirt on, it was lighter. Now it looks like a Rorschach test. Yeah, I mean, look at my face. My face is sweating. My face don't even sweat like that for real. Vietnam. You know, maybe there will be some, look at that dog. That dog over there. Look at it. Anyway, clear skin. Maybe that'll be a side effect of walking around in this humidity. I'm hungry. I don't know what to do about that. Thankfully for me, there was complimentary breakfast, which I attended. Had breakfast with a couple of guys. And now we are on our way to the marketplace for currency exchange, a little bit of shopping, and maybe some banh mi. But I'm switching to one of my training shirts because this heat is, come on.
Limited edition. Exactly. And he could even just put it on his website, you know, and like, so whoever wants it, wants it. You know?
I saw a whole family, I was very excited to eat, but had yet to exchange any of my US dollars for Vietnamese dollars, so my buddy Aldo spotted me. My first dong.
The way you said it, it was a
that's reaching, bro. Reaching.
Camera, it was an extra D on it. He said.
D is wild, yo.
Yeah, that's for later. Okay.
You ready, man?
Yes, sir.
So not every place is like this, but they gave us our vegetables and peppers and stuff on the side, so we were able to drizzle them in as we saw fit.
Not terrible.
Here we go. Banh mi bite number 1. It was really good. I was glad to have had my first banh mi authentically in Vietnam, but I would have a better one from the street later this week. Our next stop was the nearby Ben Thanh market, where Kwok taught us all how to haggle for lower prices, and he also educated us about weasel poop coffee, which is apparently a delicacy. I will not be expanding further. If you want to know more, ask Kwok.
In New York City, we have everything there.
I know. Trying this out. You go first.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
It's kind of scary to eat, but it wasn't that bad at all.
It was. I was like, had like some tentacle aura to it. I was like, ugh. That is tasty.
They're native to Southeast Asia. Oh, I didn't know they were native to Southeast Asia.
Well, I'm annoyed with myself. I brought 2 film rolls with me, and one of them was color, one of them was black and white. I was gonna switch out just now the color for the black and white to get some black and white shots tonight, but I accidentally rolled the color version all the way back into the canister, and there were like, you know, a significant amount of shots left. I might have even overexposed this canister as I was taking it out anyway, I don't know. But I'm trying this trick of using another film leader to pull the first one out. It is not working for me so far. We're gonna keep trying. Come on, man. Okay, so there. So why don't I just... It worked! It worked! Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay. We're good. That was a real vlogger moment, caught live. Our first training sessions tonight, and I am messing around with some electrolyte mix. Element, I am not sponsored. However, if you are looking to help a brother out, think about it. Finally, it was time for our first training session of the retreat. We all met up in the hotel lobby and followed Jeff back to Saigon Sports Club, where we were warmly received by the lovely staff and slowly began to introduce ourselves to each other, the people we'd be beating up for the next 8 days.
Justin, Greg, nice to meet you. I'm gonna have to ask people.
Jeff put the pedal to the metal immediately by having us practice our double leg takedown, as that would be one of the root sequences for the entire week. I'm working with Brandon here. He's one of the homies I made earlier that day. He's brand new to combat sports, but has an athletic past in football, basketball, etc. Jeff composed this very cool flow drill where we would break out of a rear bear hug, spin in for a double leg, take the person down, and then repeat.
Yes. That's beautiful. Yeah. So you switch. Yeah. Keep that right down. Wide with that leg. Now drive to the right. Yeah. But don't fit it. You can stand up. Yeah. Whatever it takes. You can run. Literally run.
Just got our first official water break, but we've been drinking water the whole time. Toward the end of class, people started to get some rolls in. This is my second roll with Aldo. Aldo's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, but has had less consistent practice in it than he has with striking. So I thought we'd be an interesting matchup for each other. Around here, I tried a foot sweep that did not work out for me per se. He got into my guard, spun right out of that sucker. I'm not a great guard holder. And then started to assert knee on belly and try to go for a sort of side control pressure situation here. Though you can't see it too well from this angle, what's about to happen is a prime example of why you should watch the person you want to roll with before you roll with them. Aldo started to set up a top triangle here, and I was determined not to let that happen to me, certainly not on day one. So I prepped to defend it in advance and was able to kind of hitchhike my way out of it and get back to here. Aldo responded to my escape by inserting his butterfly hooks, and I became dead weight. This is usually my response to that. I just make myself as much of a burden as possible to sweep or toss in any significant way while I wait for my opponent to do something else. I was also trying to maintain head control, but in fact he got control of mine and was able to spin around to the back, thus beginning our long battle for the rear naked choke. It won't do any favors for my ego or reputation to say that I'm used to being here. We practice RNC and defense a lot in my school, so I didn't feel panicked or uncomfortable at all. I just focused on protecting my neck, keeping just enough space to breathe, maneuver, and wait for, really, his arms to burn out, which eventually they did. But in this case, his arms weren't so much the issue as his legs. I wasn't quite able to beat the feet or the body lock. He was able to reassert a mount, and now he had me in this arm triangle position. It wasn't quite super snug. There's a couple times where I'm about to tap and then decide not to. I'm about to tap again and then decide not to. But ultimately, night one, not going to go crazy over it. I tapped. After that, I made my way back to the hotel for a shower and joined the rest of the gang for a group dinner at a nearby hot pot place. It was pretty tasty and very tiny. You can see all of us trying to squeeze into these tables. But whatever discomfort there was made up for by the camaraderie. And that was the end of day one, but certainly not by any means the end of the journey.